Good morning, everyone. My name is Jamison Keller with Agency RM. I am our Vice President of Strategic Development. Thank you very much for joining us today for one of our marketing webinars related to building a successful marketing campaign. I'd like to introduce Chris York. Chris and I have known each other for many, many years, even before my time at Agency RM. He's always been a strong partner in the marketing world. And so I've asked Chris to join us today and provide you with some information related to marketing and building a successful marketing campaign. And then at the end, he's going to give you just a little bit of information about his organization, as well as talk about a discount that he's going to provide to Agency RM agents. So we'll talk a little bit more about that discount at the end and how to access it. But with that, Chris, take it away.
Hey, thank you, Jamison. Good morning, everybody. My name is Chris York, and I'm the Senior Vice President of Business Development for Kramer Direct. And Jamison, I want to thank you again for letting me share the last part of the weekend with everybody on the phone. I hope you find the information we're going to talk about to be worthwhile. So here's what we're going to do today. I do want to talk to you about how you should be thinking about marketing through AEP. You know, it's one of the strongest parts of the year for those of us who are in the senior marketplace. And I've got some ideas based on Kramer's experience and my experience that might help your job be a little bit easier. You know, we're not unmindful that probably the largest thing that you spend as part of your budget is your marketing dollars. And that's going out trying to find new business acquisitions. And so whether it's through direct mail, whether it's email, whatever you're doing, you know, you always want to try to find a more efficient and more productive way to use those dollars. So that's what I would like to talk to you about today as we work through this. My goal here is to make you a smarter consumer. You know, at the end of the day, I'd love for you to do business with Kramer Direct, but more than anything, I'd like you to pick up some ideas so you can be more efficient and more successful. So having said that, let's get started. So there are two things that I know about AEP that's coming up. Seniors increase their shopping through Thanksgiving, and they are totally and completely bombarded by offers. And this has not changed almost since back to the days when private fee-for-service started back in 2006. But we know that. I've got some statistics to back that up. We also know because of that, there is a lot of noise in the marketplace, guys. I mean, you think about all the things that go on during AEP. First of all, mailboxes are jammed full. You know, James and I, we've known each other for a long time, and we run into each other at a lot of these conferences, and we always get a lot of really neat information to help us be smarter. And one of the things we keep hearing about is that during AEP, the average senior gets 19 pieces of mail. Some of that's from their current, some of that is from their people like us who are trying to gain their business. So what we've got to do is find a way to break through that mailbox noise, get out of the mailbox, past the trash can, and open. And you do that with design, you do that with data, you do that in a number of things. The other thing that people keep talking about, obviously, is email campaigns and how effective those can be. That is actually a screenshot of my email box from this morning, I'm embarrassed to say. Now, I'm probably a little bit unusual, but you see, I've got a lot of unread mail. My mailbox is almost through. I think that's probably even more so with seniors who people are shopping, particularly during AEP, because, again, last year, CMS said, hey, you can do emails. So whatever you're doing, however you're trying to market these things, you want to find a way to be effective and break through all of that noise and get your message across. So there are a couple of key components that you need to do on that. The first thing is you got to plan ahead. Look, we're all salespeople. We're all marketers. And one of the things that makes us successful is that we can think on our feet and react very quickly. Some of the things we're not really great at is planning ahead. But you've really got to do that, or you will miss the opportunity or waste your marketing dollars to the most productive time of the year. So it's August, you know, and I know everybody's busy right now. You're going through certifications, you're getting ready, trying to figure out what you're doing, and you think it's August, I got a little bit of time, but we all know that Medicare is going to be here before we know it. So if you haven't started planning, you need to start now. You know, it's not too late, but you should get started very quickly about what you're going to do and figure out how you're going to market. You also want to figure out what you're going to market. And that's not just what MA plan am I going to represent this year, what I'm going to do. You know, one thing some people tend to forget is that there's a lot of Medicare supplement insurance written during AEP as well. In fact, those last 3 months of AEP, there's more business than written in the other corresponding 3 months throughout the year. So Medicare supplement's a great time to market as well. So think about which one of those products you want to go, both, one, whatever. And then identify your goals. Identify your goals, figure out what your strategy is, what your plan is, how, when you're going to spend your money, and what you're going to spend your money on. So we know, and this has not changed probably again almost since 2006, that when seniors shop. So one of the things I mentioned is we go to a lot of seminars, meetings throughout the year. Most of you who watch TV are familiar with a company called Nielsen Research. And what Nielsen does is they sort of rate what people are watching what shows. Well, there's a company that comes to these shows every year called Deft Research, and who this is from. And what they do is they specialize in monitoring shopping patterns of seniors, particularly during AEP, because what we do is we find it very, very valuable. You see two lines there. The green line on the bottom are people who shopped but didn't switch, so we almost don't care about those. But that top blue line is the number of people who actually ended up switching. And what they look back and ask seniors, they broke them up to those periods you see at the bottom down here, mid-October, early November throughout, and said, during those times, did you shop for a Medicare Advantage plan or for other additional coverage? And you'll see that first part of October, from the 15th through early November, 51% of the seniors who ultimately switched went out and shopped. In November up to about Thanksgiving, they were still holding level. About 49% still went out and shopped during that period. And then we've all seen this in our business. After Thanksgiving, things sort of tail off pretty dramatically to down to 37% are shopping, and by the late November, all the way through the end of AEP, it's down to 25%. And we all see this. So think about, as you're front-loading or as you're thinking about what your marketing dollars are doing, try to front-load them when most of the people are shopping. I also gauge how to make that determination is based on Thanksgiving. So again, this year, Thanksgiving's a little early. I think it's about the 23rd of the month. So that means after Thanksgiving, we still have 2 full weeks left in AEP. So a lot of people who are still just really beginning to make that final buying decision. So I always say that if for some reason you still are not achieving your goals during AEP, you can drop something those last couple of weeks, just a small shot in the arm, you can pick up some extra business as well. What's not on here, which has happened in the past, is so about 25% of the seniors actually start shopping in September as well. Because think about this. People typically shop when there's something that's making them nervous, so they're just distracted about something or something's not making them comfortable. If they're in a Medicare Advantage plan, by law, they have to receive an annual notice of change, which is ANOCs. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen those documents, but they are daunting. CMS has regulations what you can say and not say. And even though it may announce the best benefits in the world, seniors get those and they feel like they need to shop. So we feel like September is a great time to be in the mail to get ready for AEP. Number one, you're beating the rush when most of the plans and other people are in the mail. You can get the mailbox ahead of time. So as you're doing that, think. Once you figure out what your goals are. Are you going to do straight lead generation, which is what probably typically most of you probably do, is where you're sending out a direct response, whether it's a mail, whether you're responding to emails, whatever you're trying to do, it's a lead generation, which is a great one. A lot of people do seminars during AEP. I've made my life doing seminars and have marketed everything you could possibly think of, and they work great if you know what you're doing. Look, if you've never done seminars, this is not the time to learn how to do it. Get partnered with somebody, partner with somebody who knows how to do it, maybe got a program to learn it, because it can be very, very effective. Because when seminars work, they're great. If they don't work, they are a miserable failure because there's some investment involved with restaurants and that type of thing. Direct consumer is the last piece, and we've really seen this kind of rise up over the last 10 years or so. This is where a lot of companies, both Medicare Supplement and Medicare Advantage, now let you either do telephonic ads or electronic ads. So what that means is you're no longer restricting your marketing efforts and your sales efforts where you can drive to in a day. I've been doing this so long, I remember we used to kind of go in packs where we would mail into an area and then go work it for about, particularly if we had a competitive product, go work it for a week out of town. Well, today you don't have to do that. If you're representing a company and you're living in San Antonio, Texas, and you've got either a Medicare Advantage or a Medicare Supplement company that's got a competitive rate in Abilene, well, that's at least a 10-hour drive, right? But what you can do is you can target your marketing efforts like with mail, have those people call you on the phone, and you have the ability then to write them that way. So whatever your strategies are, coordinate them, make sure your message is the same, everything is going on the same way, but you've really got 3 different ways to take advantage of how to get in front of people. Once you figure out when and how you're going to market, what your goals are, you really got to figure out the most important step, I think, frankly, is the data. And that's who you're going to market to. Because data is one of the most important parts that you can possibly have. Because, guys, if you use the wrong data, you're going to miss your target. And missing your target in this case really and truly is literally a train wreck, a car wreck, because AEP is such an important part of it. You know, it wasn't so long ago. So I used to live in Clearwater, Florida, and I worked for a large agency in Clearwater. And up the street from us was this senior living facility. It was probably about 10 square blocks. It's called Top of the World. Been there for probably ever. In that 10 square blocks, there's about 10,000 seniors who live in that square blocks, that area. Well, it used to be we could just mail into that whole area and get a decent response. What's happened now is there might be all those people in that area, but they may not respond to the different message. They may not to the same product. There are some differences. So you need to be able to segment what your data says and how you're going to go after those people and do it. And that's what you need to work with somebody who can provide that data to you. So, for example, I think if we take a look at, for this discussion, basically to the products, Medicare Supplement, Medicare Advantage, a lot of people not in our industry would look at those and say, well, you know, they're the same, right? I mean, they're offering health benefits for seniors. There's not a lot of differences. But there are some fundamental differences between a Medicare Supplement buyer and a Medicare Advantage buyer. First of all, the big difference is Medicare Advantage buyers typically don't pay a premium, or they have a low premium and everything's included in one, from their health care benefits to the prescription drugs. Where a Medicare Supplement buyer, they've got to have the financial wherewithal, I call it sort of the health care disposable income budget, to be able to afford a Medicare Supplement plan and a Part D plan. So they're a little bit different. Forget about the benefit differences, you know, whether it's in-network or freedom of choice or whatever, but there are some differences. So, for example, if you're going after a Medicare Supplement buyer, and again, this is a great time to go after them, you really want to go after somebody who has got that basic financial ability to pay the premiums. So, typically, if this was an aging in campaign, so for example, we were doing lock-in, the age range we're talking about would be totally different. But now, because we're going into AEP, we now have the chance to market Medicare supplements to people who have a Medicare Advantage who may want to change. So during AEP, I would mail everybody that's when 64 and 6 months to age 75. The other thing is, you may have a carrier that's got a competitive rate in one age segment. They may have a competitive rate that is like 76 to 77, and you want to mail to that. It's a great thing about using direct mail and other targeted media. You can specifically go after certain areas and certain age ranges to get you in the most competitive marketplace. For Medicare Supplement, you know, I would do incomes $30,000 and up, and it really depends on your area. So we have people from all over the country on the phone today. So 30,000 is a pretty good base. That base is going to be different. If you live in Del Rio, Texas, that minimum income may be $20,000. If you live in Dallas, Fort Worth, that minimum income may be $50,000. It really just depends. When you talk to whoever your lead provider is, ask them, say, listen, let me ask you a question. In this area, what seems to work? Do you have some ideas as far as age range and income range? They should be able to tell you. Also, you guys are a great source. When you call up, say, hey, this works for me. Can you help me find people in this income and age range? They should be able to help you. During AEP, we also mail one per household. So one big question I've got is people go on a website and they run a list of counts in the area, and it may come up with like there's 5,000 eligible people in that area. We then come in and run counts, and we show maybe there's only like 3,200 or 3,500. Because during AEP specifically, we recommend you only mail one per household. If you've got a husband and wife who are the same age and it's AEP, they're going to be shopping together. So why spend money on mailing both of them when you can just mail to one? You're going to have the same effectiveness, but you're going to spread your out dollars and be able to purchase more leads or spend less money. So we'd go one per household. We also default to female first because studies show in healthcare, females make the buying decision when it comes to the healthcare needs. Medicare Advantage is just a bit different. During AEP, you want to mail 64 and 9 months, and I put age 79 out there. You know, the good thing about Medicare Advantage plans is that they're pretty much the same premium no matter what age they are, and it really just depends on how your carrier, what they're feeling like, this type of thing. But I would mail to everybody. I would also mail incomes 0 to 125,000. The reason I would cut it off at 125,000, so I've been mailing and doing marketing in the senior market for a lot of years. Kramer Direct has been mailing millions of pieces of mail for the last 35 years as well. So we've got some pretty cool, interesting statistics. One thing we know, response rates, unlike a Medicare supplement, response rates on Medicare Advantage plummet after 125,000. So I would just cut the income off there. Again, it'll save you a little bit more money. You typically will get a disproportionately higher response rate of the lower incomes, like the 0 to 15,000 or 0 to 20,000, which is a great market for this. So keep that in mind as you begin to plan. The marketplace will probably respond to you. And then the same thing, one per household, default to female first, that type of thing. Once you decide who you're going to mail to, you want to find out where you're going to spend your marketing dollars. This is a great slide. There's a lot of stuff going on there, but basically it's also from Deft Research. And essentially what it compares is the last 4 years on where people go to shop. So the question was, it says, between October 15th and December 7th of last year, which of these channels did you go to when you received a piece of mail from them or you received an offer from them, what caused you to respond? And again, these are people who switched, who didn't just purchase. So you'll see direct mail still outshines everything else. It's sort of like this guy said one time, direct mail's like Michael Myers in the old Friday the 13th movies. You always think he's dead, but he always comes back stronger than ever. So we hear a lot of noise about direct mail is dying. It is not. One thing when they talk about that, people focus so much on people aging into Medicare who are certainly more internet and Facebook savvy, which is true. They forget we have the ability to market to anybody over age 65. So there's a lot of people out there who still read their mail. There's a lot of people out there who still read newspapers as well. So keep that in mind. That's when you see this figure. You can see that last year, 46% of the people who got a piece of direct mail said yes, that was a part of their buying decision. The next was the ANOX, which is that annual notice of change I told you about. You can see that a lot of people start shopping when they get those, and that is typically, by law, it has to be in September. And then it pretty much tends to go down the line pretty much from there. Jameson's going to put this on the website, so you certainly have time to look at it and see. The reason I show this slide is that I always tell people, if you've got a good, healthy budget, don't put all your money into one medium. Don't do it everything. Don't put everything into direct mail. Don't put anything into email or whatever you want to do. So if you've got a financial ability to spread your dollars out among different media, that's great. If not, you need to pick the one that tends still to be the most effective during AEP, which is certainly direct mail. You do see TV ads are coming in. You notice that they've come up pretty well as well. I think all of us have seen that commercial of the doctor standing there talking about the Medicare, enrollment health hotline, whatever he calls himself, up there. So a lot of those. So sometimes you can find those companies and they can provide you leads from those as well. It just depends really what you want to do and where you want to shop. So for the purpose of this, because direct mail seems to still be the most effective, we want to focus on that. So people ask me, what's the best lead? Should it be a generic lead where it doesn't really talk about much so I get in front of a lot of people? Should it be a branded lead with my name on it? Or should it be a company lead with a company's name on it with a lot of benefits? Which is the most effective? Well, I always tell people I believe the lead is simply a really good way to start a conversation. And if that's what you're trying to do, and then use your ability, certainly within all the state regulations, CMS regulations, to turn that into the type of sale you want it to be, my answer is try to get a good mix of a generic ad that gets you a good response versus a very, very specific ad that gets you a low response. Now, there is one caveat to that. the more generic the ad, you'll get a higher response rate. But because sometimes the people aren't sure why you're coming, you don't have quite the conversion rate. So you won't close as many people per number of leads that you get. But at least you're getting in front of a lot of people. As you get more specific and talk about companies, talk about benefits and this type of thing, your lead response will drop fairly dramatically. However, the people who do respond are more likely to understand why you're coming, and you will have a higher conversion rate. I think there's a good mix in there, and I think there's some ways that you can do both a sort of specific ad and a generic ad that makes it work. And I just happen to have a sample here. So this is a great one. So this is a Medicare supplement piece. This type of piece works well. It's a postcard. You guys have all seen these. They're pink, they're yellow, they're blue, they're green, whatever. They're really ugly, and people say, why do you continue to use them? And my answer is because they work. They respond very, very well. And this is typical of the type of lead that works well, that we use a lot, and I know some of our competitors out there do as well. It's a postcard. You see it looks kind of semi-official. They've got the ability to return the postcard back to us, where it's got some pre-populated information in. The vast majority of people who respond do return with their date of birth and their spouse's date of birth if they have a Medicare supplement plan. You see also we ask for phone numbers and we ask for emails. What's interesting about this piece is that people say, well, can I buy a list with phone numbers on it? And yes, you can. The trouble is with the do not call list today, you're likely to get anywhere from 20 to maybe at the most 30% of the people that you want will have a phone number. With a lead like this, we're seeing anywhere between 52 and 60% of the people actually write in their phone number on the lead card. Because they've written it in, you have permission to call within all the guidelines in your state and CMS regulations and all those things as well. You can call them. We also ask for emails, and that's coming in as well. The message, it's not branded. It only has your name in the disclaimer down here if your state requires it, which we obviously will make sure that happens for you. But if you notice, it says, hey, return the card back, and I'm going to give you a Medicare supplement comparison. I'm going to bring you, based on your age, the 5 most competitives in your plan, respond to the information and get back to me. The card they send back has got that on it. It responds very well. You should see a response rate on this, depending on what state you're in and everything. You're going to see response ranges anywhere from like 2.25% up to maybe 3.2%, somewhere along those lines. They vary widely according to geography. And one of the things that you should do when you call whoever your vendor is, say, hey, I live in Ohio. This is the type of piece I want to mail. What's your historic response rate in Ohio on this lead piece? And they should be able to tell you. This is a good time to mail this piece. You can be in the home. You can talk about Medicare supplement. So sure, there are a lot of people who probably have a Medicare Advantage plan and can't make a decision until AEP, but there are still a fair number of people that you mail to that have a Medicare supplement that you can go ahead and make a decision for them now and get that. This is a great time to be in the mail. September is it's a really good response time. Medicare Advantage lead. In our experience, Medicare Advantage leads typically pull a lower response rate than Medicare supplement leads, and it's primarily because there's a lot more disclaimers that you have to put on it that CMS requires. Actually the name of the person, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk to you about Medicare Advantage, Medicare Supplement Part D, so it's a little bit more specific. But this lead also says, we want to come out and see if we can save you money, and we can do that. It's generic enough. It's got the information you need to have the ability to contact them and go see them. I have it home starting October 1st because, a lot of marketing, one of the things that you can't do in CM and AEP is start selling until October 15th. So my thought is if you're going to be in the homes on October 1st, by the time the reply cards come back, it'll be right the time you can go see them. There's nothing that says you can't mail this piece now. There's nothing that says you can't do that. Just keep in mind is if they respond, there's nothing you can sell them until you go out, unless they buy a Medicare supplement until then. But this is a great piece as well. But remember, this piece will respond less than the Medicare supplement piece. I know a lot of agents spend a lot of their dollars, particularly in September, mailing that Medicare supplement piece because it gets a good response rate. And the people who I'm not a CMS expert. I'm not telling you how the rules work. I'm not telling you that there are specific regulations about what you need to do with the scope of appointment. There's a lot of people who intend to go out and sell a Medicare supplement plan, find out something's more appropriate, then they follow the regular guidelines to go through and do whatever's required to set that a follow-up appointment. But these are really, really good things that work. Now, you can do more generic plans. You can do more specific plans like I talked about. If you have a custom piece, people are happy to look at that as well and see if it works. But these generally are the type of pieces that work tremendously. I would be doing a disservice. Kramer Direct, we're in the direct mail business. But again, one of the things Jameson asked me to do was to just give some general information. I said earlier, yes, you do need to think about doing some multi-channel if you want to. Direct mail is still a great way to go. Social media would be Facebook, that type of thing. It's a great way to advertise. It can be very targeted. Email campaigns, last year CMS said you could do acquisition emails. I will tell you this about emails. They are inexpensive, and you can send a lot of them out. But if you've ever done them, the response rate is not that low. The open rate, the click-through rate is very low. They're good leads, but you really don't get a big bang for your buck out of them. Where emails work is when you do them as a follow-up to any other advertising you're doing, like a direct mail piece or that type of thing. Newspapers, and yes, seniors still read newspapers. They're a great way to go into it. TV, radio, and again, most of you don't have the ability to run your own commercials. There are people out there who do sell leads from their sort of direct TV ads. All those are great. If you can use all of them, I suggest you do it. If you have a limited budget, as of today, August 17th, 2018, direct mail is still the most cost-effective way to do it if it's done right. And being done right, you got to find the right partner. And by talking about the right partner, I'm talking about the Beatles from like about 64 till about 68 before they begin to fall apart from 69 on, right? When you find the right partner, it's like musical. It is absolutely magical. So find the right partner. And by doing that, I think there's some questions that you should ask them. Remember, it's your money, it's your dollars. Ask us, ask anybody in detail. Ask them these questions. First of all, what's your historic rate of response? You're buying from a vendor because they're going to give you a good response. Ask them what it is. Don't fall into the trap that our national response rate is this. While that's got some merit to it, you want to find out what is my response rate in your state over the last 6 months, because things change, on this type of product. If they don't tell you, move on. Updated list. This is really important. We, for example, we update our list every 30 days. And the reason we do that is we're in the senior population. We have a high mortality rate and people move. If you don't update your list, you're going to find no list is perfect, but you're going to find you're going to have about a 10 to 15, maybe a 20% spoilage because the people are either dead or don't live there anymore. That's 15 to 20% of your marketing dollars sitting on the post office floor that are going to waste. So ask them, how often do you update your list? Model data. Most vendors will have a basic set of data. That will include name, address, will include age, it'll include income, and it may include other things like female first, that type of thing, which is really good enough, I think, for a lot of areas to target and get you to the place you want to go. Some people talk about model data, whether it's a responder's data or get specific. I want to mail to this person, with this ethnicity or this religious background. All these things that you can do, certainly. They cost more. So when people talk about model data, say, what's the extra cost, and say, what kind of increase in response rate have you seen from using that model data to see if it makes sense? We protect areas for 60 days. And by that, I mean, if you order a Medicare mailing, and that's whether it's a Medicare supplement or Medicare Advantage, when you order Medicare mailing from us, we are not going to remail the person you mailed for 60 days. So I'm not going to be your competition. So if Jameson called up and ordered a 1,000-piece mailing in Austin, Texas, I would call up the next day and order a 1,000-piece mailing in Austin, Texas. I'm not going to mail the same people. We don't allow that. 60 days we give you in order to work your lead. If you think about it, 60 days pretty much covers all of AEP, so you're protected on that. The other thing I often have to say out, we never resell leads. When you get a lead from us, we don't resell it. It's your lead to work. You don't have to worry about walking in the door and somebody else has had that lead as well. We don't do that. You own the lead. And again, we protect all the names you mail to for 60 days. We send out our pieces first class. That's particularly important during AEP. Because if you think about it, AEP, you only got a certain period of time. And if it's going out third class, you really don't have any idea when the mail's going to hit. So the way the system works, when an order is placed, it's generally in the mail 2 to 3 days after the payment's taken care of. If it's in the mail, then if it's first class, it's going to be in the home 2 to 3 days later, which means you can pretty much target when you want to. Remember back when I said earlier, and to some of you it may seem hours ago, but it's only been minutes, but remember what I said earlier about, that last 2 weeks during AEP? If for some reason either some extra co-op money loosens up or you're going to do one last hit, if you decide right before Thanksgiving you want to do that last couple of weeks, doing it this way, we can say, great, we can be in the home the Monday, the Tuesday, the Wednesday after Thanksgiving to give you that push. So that's a possibility. The reply cards always come back first class because, again, it makes that turnaround time faster. We typically have all the leads come back to our processing center in Dallas, and we do that simply so you don't have to worry about the postage permit, this type of thing. The leads come in. Every lead that comes in is scanned into our lead tracker customer management system. So that means a lead comes in today, it's scanned, it's in your inbox the next day. We have a lead tracker program is essentially a web-based portal where you're able to go in, check on when something was mailed, how many responses come back, and more importantly, you're able to click on a lead and it'll actually pop up a copy of the reply card. Listen, I know knocking on doors, a lot of times when you walk up, the person says, I don't remember why you're here, I don't remember doing that. But unless you've got a copy of the card that says you fill this out, that won't get you in the door. So we provide that to you. The other thing that we do in our website is on Medicare Supplement. I can't do this in Medicare Advantage because of CMS rules when it comes to marketing. On Medicare Supplements, if you do a mailing, you go to our website, click open that lead, click on it, what'll happen, a map will pop up. And in that map, in the middle of it will be a red dot, and that's the person who responded. And then anywhere from a quarter of a mile or even a half a block out to 5 miles, you can expand out, and you'll see a bunch of black dots. And those black dots are the people who got the mailing who didn't respond. So I already hear brains whirling over the telephone line. So think about this. For Medicare Supplement, you also may keep in mind of what your local rules and about soliciting say as well. But typically, somebody comes, knocks on the door, sees me, and they say, thank you, Mr. York, I appreciate it. They look and they say, well, Mr. Smith down the road also got this mailing. Go knock on the door and say, Mr. Smith, hi, my name's James Keller. The reason I'm here is I'm in the area. I just saw your neighbor up the street. You're one of the few people who got this mailing and didn't respond. Do you have a few minutes for me to tell you what I do? May I come in? It is a great way to extend your marketing list and also maximize your efforts when you're in the area. Obviously, you can't do that with Medicare Advantage because CMS says we're not allowed to do cold marketing. So how does this work? So at Kramer Direct, we believe in a personalized touch. We do not have a way to order leads online. And the reason we do that is we like to talk to the agents and talk to them individually and our customers perfectly. So what you'll do is, if you're ready to order, here's the phone number that goes out. You call up and you choose the area, choose the demographics. We'll email you a sample of your lead police and your counts. When we get you receive your payment, we can do credit card, we can do check, we can do ACH, we can do all those things. When you get your repayment, we then go ahead and process the order and mail it. Like I said, it's in the home within 2 to 3 days. Business reply cards will normally come back within another 5 to 6 or 7 days after that. So you should start getting responses back within about, 10 days along those lines at the latest. When that response comes in, if you've never done business with us before, you'll get an email that says, hey, Chris York, congratulations, your first lead has come on. Go to this website. Here's your login information, and here is your passcode. Log in to Secure Portal. From that, you're able to look at your leads and go from there. The other thing is you can hit notifications, and every time a lead comes in, you will get an email notification said, hey, you've gotten a lead come in, and that works great. So we're able to turn those around quickly. Now, what we have right now is we have a special rate that's running now through September 30th for agents who are associated with agency ARM. So, Jameson, what I understand is what you want them to do to find out what the special rate is to go to your website. Our typical rate is $520 $1,000. But if you go to the website and click in through his secure agent portal, you'll see that we've given a fairly significant discount on orders that are placed between now and September 30th. Those orders, that rate I told you about, that includes everything. It includes the data, the basic data, which is more than enough to target who you want to go to. It includes the lead. It includes the postage outgoing and incoming, and it also includes our web-based portal where you can log in and you get it. And like a lot of people, we do not have a monthly fee or a minimum you have to have that portal. Once you mail with us, you've got access to that portal whenever you need it. There's no minimum or no monthly fee.
Hey, Chris, let me pop in for just a second.
Absolutely.
Just so everybody knows, that discount for Kramer Direct leads or mailings will be up within about 1 hour. So if you're trying to look right now, you're not going to find it. But if you go to agencyrm.com, hover over Tools, and then click the Agent Tools login, you'll be able to log in and see all of our discount programs, including this one, in about 1 hour.
Great. Thanks. So, Jameson, that's pretty much it. I mean, there's our contact information. He'll have it up on the screen. That's our number. We're there to help you. For those of you who don't know, Kramer Direct's been in business for over 35 years now. And we work with thousands of agents every day, giving affordable leads, quite simply, that are very effective. You don't do this for 35 years unless you're doing something right, and that's where we are. So I don't know if there's any questions. I'm more than happy to hang on and answer any questions that people may have, Jameson. Or other than that, I have talked all I need to talk.
Fantastic. Chris, thank you very much for your presentation today. I certainly learned a lot listening to that, and I've listened to you speak multiple times over the years at the conferences we go to. So, folks, thank you very much for attending today. I very much appreciate you taking time to be here and taking time to be with AgentCRM as your trusted FMO partner. We certainly appreciate your business. If there's anything you need, please reach out to AgentCRM at 855-721-8088. You can also catch us at service@agencrm.com for anything service-related, or compliance@agencrm.com if you need compliance support. But we're here for you for anything that you need. Reach out. Otherwise, have a fantastic weekend. Good luck this AEP if we don't get a chance to talk beforehand, and let us know what you need. Have a great day, folks. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate all your time here today.
Thank you, Jameson. Bye.